Welcome everyone to M240 Statistics. I'm going to try to do weekly videos to post to kind of try to help with the technology as well as kind of show some of the ways to do some of the homework problems and how they apply to this week's lessons. So this first question is how to build a scatter plot. A scatter plot is really useful because it lets you show if there's some kind of relationship between two variables. You can connect the lines. You don't have to. You can connect the dots. You don't have to connect the dots, but it can kind of show if there's a relationship. We'll build them a little bit this week, and then we'll really use them a lot when we get into weeks 6 and 7, where we start to do regression, and we can kind of see if two variables have a relationship. So hopefully everyone's done the little stat lab to show how to use StatCrunch and how to open it and get through their homeworks. Typically you'll have, if you have a data set, it'll either be on your screen where you can see it. This one doesn't have it. The next problem we will. Or they'll have a little data table like here in this little blue box. So if I click on the little blue box, my data loads. And you can kind of see all the data here. What I highly encourage everyone to do is click on the little rectangles here next to your data sets. And it says click to copy to table. When you click on it, you have your options. Open in StatCrunch, open in Clipboard, open in Excel. I try to post in my write-ups every week how to do it in both, so you can have a preference. I'm on a Mac, so using Excel is a little more challenging than it is on a PC. So I'm going to use StatCrunch just so I don't confuse you for you all learning it the first time. So I'll click on Open in StatCrunch. New pop-up opens. Can be slow or fast. Like I said, I get a lot that people are like, I like to do things by hand so I can learn. That is good for some problems, but some I really want you to use the technology, because if you're going to apply this outside of the classroom in your field, you're going to use technology. You're not going to sit there and write all your data out by hand and try to use these formulas. So start getting comfortable with technology, so when you get further into your field of study, or if you actually use it in your business, you're probably going to have it in Excel. So this is a way to kind of learn both at the same time. All right, so StatCrunch is opened up here. I'm going to scroll this over a little bit. Let's get rid of my box here so I can go back to my problem. There's my StatCrunch. All right, so here's a couple of the things at the top. The two we'll use most than anything is stat and graph. Stat is when we're trying to do analysis. Graph is when we want to graph. So first part A here, I want you to do a time series plot, which is a scatter plot, but just basically scatter plot over time. So we come down here and we find Scatterplot. So you click on it. First thing we have to put in is an X variable. All right. So X, I'll use the answer key to kind of refresh everyone, is everything that is on the horizontal axis. So what we know here is they want X to be year. So we come back over here and we select year. Our Y variable is everything that's on the vertical axis. That axis goes straight up and down, and that is percent earned. So we call it percent earned. Where to build it, optional. I don't mess with that. Group by, don't mess with that, because it's just going to put it in a pop-up window. If you want to have your stuff grouped, if you want to do overlays, I want to do points, display points, but I also want to display the lines. So I held Shift on my keyboard. I think it's the same on a PC. Like I said, I use a Mac, and that will fill them. They got to be filled circus, point size. You can make your points big or small, hollow, transparent, dividers if you want with X's. And then if you want to label them, you can type in your labels. I leave it as default because this is going to use the labels from our data set. All right, and then once you got everything done you want, you hit compute, and there is our time series scatter plot. And now all you do is which one does it represent. So you can see it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, all the way through with peaks and valleys. So I'm going to shrink this down. So it looks very similar to this one. It is definitely not a smooth line like this one, and it doesn't go down, it goes up. So these two are similar, except for this, your data might have been backwards somehow. I don't know how you could have done it if you just used the data table, but this is basically the inverse of this one. So A is my correct answer. You see it's a final check, so that's why it's good to build it, so you don't have to redo the problem. You can redo the problems when you're done if you don't get it perfectly correct. Similar question. As I said, everyone should be able to get a very good grade on the homeworks because you can keep doing them. Well, the only thing that's going to hinder you is obviously time. I know everyone's lives are busy, so I don't expect you to spend hours trying to get a perfect score. But hopefully you can find some time that you can get a score that you're happy with. All right. Now I just asked us about our graph. So comment any trends. So the percent of high school graduates who enrolled in college has generally increased, right? So we were down here in 1989. We're up here in 2005, right? Though there has been some down years, right? And we have some valleys. The next one, the percent of high school graduates has decreased. Nope, we've already shown that it's gone up. And there is no trends. No trends would be a flat line. Even with the peaks and valleys, it has gone up. Look at here, in 89, we were very low. And in 2000, up in there 2005, 2000, we're higher. So even with the dips, there has been a general increase. So that's how we can use technology to help us do graphs. So I'm going to jump to question 6. And I'll do a similar question real quick just so we can go walk through it. So here the data is shown for us, right? So you have lead money values. And again, if you want, you can type them, write them all down and use all the formulas by hand that were in the reading. However, I think it's more important that you know what these things mean versus can you actually calculate without making an arithmetic error. So I am going to use technology. Again, StatCrunch Excel. I did post a video in week 1 announcement of how to put data analysis in Excel. Data analysis is a thing that will help you, that will help you do statistical analysis quickly in Excel. You can always create formulas in Excel by typing the equal sign in, which we'll have videos on. But in this case, I'm going to do it in StatCrunch again because I think most of you are going to use StatCrunch at first until you get comfortable with some of the terminology. So open in StatCrunch. Now, if you get this error, it just means you forgot to close your old StatCrunch. So I just click on OK. Remember, I shrunk the last data one down. So here is our data all put in for it. So this time we don't need a graph. It just wants us to find these figures, right? It wants us to find the mean, the median, and the mode, right? And these were all, and I forgot the word. Bring up my notes real quick. Sorry about that. Central tendencies. I don't have everything memorized either. And plus, different books call it different things. Measures of central tendencies. So we click on Stat, and we come over here, Summary Stats. Same thing that's in Excel. And our data is in a column. So we click on Columns. There is no label here, so we just call it Variable 1. If you had more than one, and there is problems where you have more than one, you can click on more than one variable. And then you can see it defaulted to all of these things already in here, but there is many more things we can add. So one thing you notice is not, oh no, there's median. And I don't see mode. And then, so let's double check the mode's not over there. No. So I will add, well, now I lost everything. So crawl up, I want to add in, hold my shift key, and my control key, so I don't have to put them all in. Mean, median, all right, where are you at? All right, fine. I'm in the back of that. There we go. I had the wrong key. Hold on. Mean, median, and mode. So if you're using a Mac, it's the Command key. If you're on a Windows machine, it should be your Control key. And I haven't used Windows a lot. So those are the 3 it's asking for. You can put in many more if you want. I'm going to click Compute. And so the mean phone bill is 4141. And we'll move this over so you can see everything. Nope, too far. 41.41. Make sure you pay attention to the rounding rules. Here they worked out where nearest cent. Cent is in the hundredths place or 2 decimal places. So put 41, 41. Pay attention to this in blue. Sometimes you'll have the right answer, but in the wrong format. And sometimes Pearson will give you a chance and say, hey, it's the right answer in the wrong format. Fix it. And other times it will just say it's wrong, and then you just have to redo the problem. So make sure you read carefully what's in the little blue parentheses. Check answer. Perfect. The median is 40.77. 40.77. Compute the mode. The mode, there is no mode. Now let's talk about these real quick. So what is the mean? The mean is the average. I get a lot. I teach statistics here, obviously through Southern New Hampshire. I also teach at a local college, and a big concern I get with my students is the formulas are very ugly. I don't understand all the symbols. What I always tell my students to do is look at the formula and try to put it in your own words. So like, what is the mean? Well, the mean has this summation symbol of xi divided by n, right? And if you're not a math person, you probably like, that means nothing to me. But if you put it in your own words, what is the mean? The mean says to sum up all your data points and then divide by how many you have. So if you can take the formulas and kind of put them in your own words, it will kind of make sense what we're doing. And the mean, another mean for mean is average. So, and hopefully it should be near the middle. It's not always in the middle. It can be if our data is symmetric, which the chapter talks about things being symmetric or skewed left or skewed right. But the mean typically we assume to be kind of in the middle. Not always, but we want it to be close to that. Which takes us into what is the median. The median is the middle value. Right? If you have odd numbers, it's the actual number in the middle. If you have even, then you take the two middle numbers, add them together, and divide by 2 because you added 2 together, and you find their average, and that becomes the median. And that will be the middle number. So if the mean and the median ever equal each other, then your data is symmetric. If they do not, your data is skewed. And you can go and read a little bit about how you tell which one is skewed by which, depending on the size. So here we know our data is skewed because our mean is bigger than the median, sorry. And you see they're fairly close, so our data is probably not that skewed, but it is a little. And then the last is the mode. So what is mode? Mode is the number that repeats the most. And so we have a small data set here. We can look at it and see that none of these values repeat. Therefore, there is no mode. So that's what I'll try to do every week, is try to use some of the technology, because I know some people get a little frustrated with StatCrunch or Excel, and kind of show some tricks to navigate them and how to input this stuff. And I'll usually try to post that around Thursday. And also I'll put more information that kind of relates to the homework. So the beginning of the week's announcement on day 1 will go over kind of the concepts and theories, the book reading, and kind of get your heads wrapped around what we're doing this week, and do our discussions and start learning from each other on how these apply to everyday life. And the discussions are important. It allows us to see different points of view from everyone and kind of learn from each other. So I do get a lot of feedback at the end of the semester that I don't understand why we're doing discussions in math. But they are beneficial. They help us learn on how we can see what we're learning in the classroom, even if we don't use the formulas, that we can apply at least the concepts in everyday life. And we can learn from each other versus me just telling you, hey, look at this one example. You get 20 something, because sometimes we repeat, examples of how this works. And I learn a lot from you all, so I do like them. The key to it is make sure you post yours by Thursday, and then you respond to at least 2 of your classmates no later than Sunday. And then on Thursdays or Friday at the latest, I will post a second announcement, hopefully with either a video or audio file, discussing, kind of helping with the homework so we can work on the homeworks. All right. I hope everyone has a wonderful semester. It's going to be fast. It can be challenging. But in the end, I think we will all be successful and have learned something new about statistics. And I always learn something new from my students as well. Have a great first week, and I will talk to you soon.